that you're only going to get one chapter out of my book. That's it.
Mhm.
One chapter. One
Mhm.
chapter. Now, the next group will be the second chapter. But here's what happens. If I bring you into a group, a one-to-many that I'm coaching, and you're getting one chapter, and you know what that chapter is going to be,
Mhm.
some people will be done after that. Some people will want more, and they'll come to the next one. Some
Mhm.
people will want even more and will say, Samantha, how do I work with you one-on-one to get the whole book?
Adam Roach, founder of the I Love Coaching community, where he helps established coaches move from uncertainty to ownership. After building, scaling, and successfully exiting multiple businesses, Adam now works with high performers to simplify their model, increase leverage, and build coaching businesses that actually fit their lives. Hi, Adam. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you, Samantha. Excited to be here. So excited to be here.
I wanted to go back. Usually, the way that I start these shows is just to get a sense of who you are and what your story was. So I want to go back kind of to little Adam, and how did little Adam become adult Adam? What was your journey? What was your story into the work that you're doing today?
Great question. Well, I sometimes, and most of the time, still feel like little Adam, by the
I
way.
think we all do to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
My wife calls me a teenager the majority of the time. I'm going to be 50 years old in February, so I'm excited about that. So I grew up just an incredible lifestyle, an incredible life looking back on it. I grew up in Indiana,
Mhm.
and I am the grandchild of farmers. And
Mm.
my grandfather, my great grandfather, and I think even before then, were farmers in Indiana. So I got to really experience fun when I grew up, right? We'd
Mhm.
go to grandpa's farm. I'd see the cows. I'd see the chickens. I'd play on the
Mhm.
farm equipment. I'd see nothing but just vast open cornfield and soybean fields, right?
Mhm.
And that was fun. But in now my adult years, what I realized was fun was actually grandpa's business, right? That was work. And then my father it was first generation off the farm. And he took that hard work and he turned it into being a coach. And he was an Olympic swim coach. And so my father, who I got to then watch my entire life, also worked hard off the farm, but worked hard in the space of significance, right? So he played a significant role in people's lives to move them to a destiny that they desired, right? And most of the times that was with athletes.
Mhm.
And so I got to see physical hard work. I got to see which grandpa had success, right? Then I got to see my father also do hard work, but in a significant space. And so those two things shaped me to become an entrepreneur who worked hard, but also then eventually become a coach who understands significance. Now,
Mhm.
I believe that you can have both, but I do believe that you can focus on success, which I've done, and not significance, and hit a dead end. Right? Success does have a finiteness to it. Significance, on the other hand, has an infinite opportunity, and it can help you in the legacy space. John Maxwell, who is a dear friend and a mentor and a coach of mine, says you can't have a legacy without legs. And
Mm.
so that is really fun to see and experience now as I get to serve coaches all day, every day, the significance that they are having on their clients
Mhm.
and watching the impact that they get to have, but yet I get to serve those coaches who go have impact on clients. It's just a blessing to be where I am today, Samantha. And it's really helped me go from the boy that grandma was hosing down because I stepped in cow poop or something
Yeah.
to now being able to, as we were just talking about, live by the water here in Charleston, South Carolina, and
Yeah.
be blessed to have had a coaching community that has, gosh, we've been on 4 continents now in the last
Wow.
6 years. So the expansion has just been incredible.
That's amazing. So there were a few parts of that I wanted to dive into before we get into the meat of it. So, like, what exactly was it? You said that you had watched your dad be an Olympic coach, which
Mhm.
is incredible because like that's actually a very niche thing,
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
pretty incredible. But like what was it that in our call you had said before, like you had some real estate businesses and you had some other businesses and things like that. What was
Yes.
it that kind of got you from that entrepreneurship road into coaching specifically? Like what was
Right.
the and what made you take the leap?
Yeah. Great question.
Mhm.
Well, so going through high school, going through college, I was a tennis player.
Mhm.
And so I played collegiate tennis at Indiana University and then went off to try to play professional tennis.
Mhm.
Well, I found out real quick that I was an American, not a European, and was getting my butt kicked all the time, attempting to play on this pseudo tour, right? Didn't make any money, didn't win any matches, and it was very it was hard. I'll just leave it at that. It was hard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but a neat experience nonetheless. And so I was in Southern California, and that was my last stop in the tournament space. And all I knew at that time was tennis, right? I did have a college degree, but I don't think it was worth anything.
Mhm.
And but I knew how to play tennis. I knew how to teach tennis. I knew everything about tennis because that's all I had really done for the last, gosh, at that point in time, half of my life, right?
Mhm.
And so what we have tendencies to do that I've now realized and watch people in patterns is they come from a former container, right? So I'll call that a
Mhm.
container. My tennis world was my container.
Mhm.
And what did I do? I went into a space to teach people how to play tennis. I became a
Mhm.
tennis pro, became a tennis pro at Beverly Hills Tennis. But I really wanted to be in the entrepreneurial space.
Mhm.
And so I gave myself 10 years from the day that I got hired there to own my own tennis club. And over a period of 3 or 4 years there at the club, I got my hands into everything,
Mhm.
every aspect of that tennis business I was in. And then within 4 years, they made me general manager. And within 5 years, they gave me equity in the company. And that was the first time I'd ever experienced a K1 or I'd ever
Mhm.
experienced a owner distribution, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, whoa, this is really cool.
Mhm.
So ironically, fast forward, I'm teaching a lesson to a guy who happened to be a mortgage lender.
Mhm.
And it's the early 2000s, and he said, "Hey, you should buy a house." I'm like, "Hey, I'm a tennis pro. I make
Mhm.
cash. I don't make a lot of cash, and Uncle Sam doesn't know that I make a lot of cash sometimes. How am I gonna buy a house?"
Yeah.
Right? And he said, "Don't worry. They're called stated loan programs, and we'll give you 100% of all the money. You just find the
Mhm.
house." I still had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So I went through the process, did all of that, and bought a house. And then, like, I don't know, what felt like just a quick blink of an eye, he said, "Sell that house." I was like, "Why would I sell this house? My parents have lived in the same house for 30 plus years. Why would I sell this house?" He goes, "Trust me, sell the house." I said,
Mhm.
"Okay." So I sold the house and I made
Mhm.
$90,000. I was like,
Wow.
"Whoa, that's really cool. Can I do this again?" And he said,
Uh-huh.
"Yes, you can." So I did that 17 more times before
Holy
the
moly.
market crashed, right?
Yeah.
So why am I sharing that story? Because every time that there was a new learned skill set, I went into coaching. I didn't realize I was doing it, but I was moving into coaching. So from tennis, I went into coaching tennis. From real estate, I then went into real estate general brokerage sales, and I hated every minute of it
Mhm.
because I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to own these things. How do I own these things? And so lo and behold, I started buying the franchises of these
Mhm.
brokerages. And that's when I moved to Charleston, South Carolina from Los Angeles. And I bought 3 of them over a period of time. But here's what I realized I was doing, Samantha, was I was buying them, I was turning them around, having success, and then teaching people how to be better agents. I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, there's a pattern here. I learn something and then I coach it. I learn something and then I coach it. I have success in it and then I go and coach it."
Mhm.
And but I was really, really, really head down driven in the world of success,
Mhm.
right? I had a coach mentor one time say, "Hey, your goal is to collect as many K1s as you can." And a K1 is what you file with the government to say, "I'm an owner of a company, not an
Uh-huh.
employee or not an independent contractor," right?
Mhm.
And so I did. I went out and I started building businesses,
Mhm.
chasing success, chasing a dollar sign.
Mhm.
And then I built a technology company, a software company inside the real estate space. And Samantha, it was one of those accidental creations that literally turned me into a millionaire.
Wow.
And I didn't mean to. It was
Yeah.
just a product that needed to be created. So I created it. And then I realized there was a massive market that needed this product. And it shot up in a monthly recurring revenue to almost $150,000 in like 8 months.
Wow.
Went straight up. Yep, straight
Yeah.
up. And the profit margins were huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so long-winded story there. And then my dad dies,
Mm-hmm.
2019. Okay. Now, 2019 was a very interesting year for me because my father passed, but I got to speak his eulogy at his funeral. And as I look out over the audience, that's when I realized what I opened this podcast with is my dad wasn't success focused. He was significant focused.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to help athletes intentionally go achieve a desired goal that they had. And he was going to commit his life to helping serve those people.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, whoa, that was like 400 or 500 people at his funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize the impact my dad had on so many people in that space. And so I took a step back and I looked while I was speaking at all the coaches, all the athletes, all the parents. I came back to Charleston and I sat on the beach being a spiritual guy and I prayed and I journaled. I kept sunscreen on my bald head. And I thought, where do I go next? Something feels empty. Something feels lost. Something feels off. But yet I'm having success. But yet something still feels off.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, in that time frame, I'd gotten divorced too. And because I was head down in the success space, right? I was very focused on not the right things at that time. And I don't mean that in a negative or illegal way, but I was just focused on business.
Mm-hmm.
And then with my dad's passing, his unfortunate passing, it really made me come back and say, "Oh." And I kept hearing over and over and over, surround yourself with better people. Surround yourself with better people, right? And so, again, being a spiritual guy, I keep this scripture right here on my wall. It's Proverbs 13:20. And it says, "Walk with the wise, become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." And I thought, "Oh my gosh. I have inherited all these people that I've bought businesses with. I don't like any of them. I don't like
Wow.
them. They're not
Mm-hmm.
helping me. They're not
Yeah.
doing anything for me. I'm pulling them along, right?"
Yeah.
And so I went to my advisory board, my mentors. I said, "Hey, I'm feeling this. I'm having success, but something feels off. What do you suggest I do?" Samantha, they said, "Sell it." I said, "Sell it? Why would I want to sell it? It's successful."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Because you are called for something else right now, and you need
Mm-hmm.
to listen to that." So I did, prayed on it, went into my investor meetings, 3 back to back on the same day, and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, either I'm buying you all out because I don't want to be in business with any of you anymore, or you're buying me out. I don't care. You all decide. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay." And so they all decided to buy me out, which was fantastic. So that was a great exit.
Yeah.
But then COVID hit. And after COVID hit, they couldn't afford to buy me out anymore. It was a mess. It was a disaster. But nonetheless, I know there's a long-winded answer,
Mm-hmm.
though that is how I had to go through ups and I had to go through downs. My divorce was not fun. It was very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And but would I do it all over again? Wouldn't want to, but I would do it all over again to get to where I got today because now I get to lead with my heart,
Mm-hmm.
not always just my ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I guess another question kind of going down that or continuing the story, how did you come on or settle on coaching coaches versus just being a coach? Because that's actually something I've never heard of, a coach for coaches, but at the end of the day, even coaches need coaches, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, here's what I did first. So when I sold my franchises, I still had my software company, and I kept it.
mhm,
And so I thought, you know what I'm gonna do? Because the users of my software was me before, and I knew everything about the software. I knew everything about the role that they were in. So I
mhm.
just reached out to them first and said, "Hey, I'm free. You want me to coach you?" And they were
Yeah.
like, "Yes, we do." So, okay, great. So that was actually how I started. And then I
Okay.
started to build the business.
Mm-hmm.
I started to build the business of me coaching people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did a one-to-one business. That was great. And then I did a one-to-many business, which was great. Started a Facebook group back in the day, which was pretty simple. Starting doing blogging was good. All was good. But it wasn't filling me up, right? I felt there was something else that I needed to be doing because I couldn't really scale that, right? I couldn't really scale it. So I brought some other coaches in with me. I was like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I like these clients, but I'd rather do something different. Do you want them? They were like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said, great. So I said, we'll give you 50%. Fantastic. No big deal. Okay, let's
Mm-hmm.
go. But then they needed my help because I only had a certain number of clients. And they said, will you help us be coaches? I was
Mm-hmm.
like, sure, but where do you want my help? They're like, well, can you teach us how to generate leads? Can you teach us how to build this like a business? I was like, sure, that'll be
Mm-hmm.
fun. And what I realized was when just a handful of guys, there's like 3 of us,
Mm-hmm.
when they wanted my help, I got so much more fulfillment coaching them on how to be better coaches and how to be a better business builder than I
Mm-hmm.
did with the clients in my recruiting software.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really neat about it, I was like, oh, there's the light bulb moment. There's the epiphany.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the wrong avatar because that's where I came from,
Yeah.
right? That was the real estate space. I thought I needed to coach that person. And that's where a lot of coaches make mistakes is they think they have to coach what they just came from
Mm-hmm.
when really they need to find what they're passionate about first,
Mm-hmm.
that they have what I call a problem solution cycle to.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you never work a day in your life. So that was how I transitioned from having clients then to working with coaches. And I thought, oh, that's easy. I
Mm-hmm.
can teach these people how I built my one-on-one coaching business. I can
Mm-hmm.
teach these people how I built a one-to-many business. I can teach these people how I built events and had people like John Maxwell and Damon West and the who's who come and speak at these events. I can teach them all of that,
Mm-hmm.
which adds scale.
Yeah.
And so that was in 2021. And I just started then attracting other coaches who needed help.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you know what, but I don't want to take any of their money. I want to build like a gym. I want a
Mm-hmm.
membership. I want to build
Yeah.
something that says you can come into the gym anytime you want to.
Yeah.
If you want to get physically fit, great, let's work out.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to take a break from the gym, you don't have to come to the gym. You've already paid your membership, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we've established now is the membership of I Love Coaching, where
Mm-hmm.
we have hundreds of coaches that we get to serve, who they get to go serve their clients,
Mm-hmm.
and they follow a blueprint, right? They
Yeah.
follow that blueprint. We call it phase 4. There's 4 phases of the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I transitioned to coaching coaches was I actually enjoyed working with them more than my clients.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. That's an amazing
Yeah.
story. So, and especially I love how like you kind of already indicated, that you would learn something and then you started coaching it and learn
Right.
something and started coaching it,
It's such
right?
a
And so
pattern, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, and so the fact that you like built a business around coaching and now you're teaching other coaches to build businesses around coaching because that's something that's not easy to do. And I'm coming at that like I mean I do many things other than
Yes.
coaching, but
You
I'm
do.
coming
Yeah.
at this as a yes, I do.
You do. Yes.
Yeah. But, yeah, like, building and learning how to scale is something like taking the certification programs, like, that doesn't always teach you, like, what is actually involved in, getting
Right.
clients, building a business, and things like that. But also so I'm curious, you talked about the business and the phase 4, which maybe we can go into that in a little bit of detail. Do you
Yes.
also teach coaches, like, just in general, how to be better coaches and
Sure.
things yeah, and like that
Yeah.
as well, or
Yeah. So there's many coaching models out there.
Mhm,
And so what we do though is our avatar is pretty simple. It's someone that feels called to serve somebody else in a
mhm,
teaching, coaching, mentoring, consulting space, training space.
mhm,
And then also someone that has a coaching business of some sort, but they're stuck, right? They're stuck at a ceiling. They're stuck at can't scale. They're stuck or bottleneck, I should say. They have bottlenecks in their business that doesn't allow them to grow at the pace that they want to. So those are our avatars right now.
mhm,
And it's I mean, We could have a conversation for the next 12 hours around this because I love helping them so
Well,
much.
let's go.
Let's go. I'll break down these phases pretty quickly and just give you a high level.
Sure.
Because here's what I've experienced, and this is what I know. When I left the real estate space, when I exited that space and got into the coaching space, I had to realize that where I was coming from wasn't my identity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think we have tendencies to carry. You can have transferable skills, excuse me, but your identity isn't what you just came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to learn that, right? I had to
Mm-hmm.
learn that I'm not this franchise owner. I'm not this 7-figure exit guy. That's not my identity, right?
Uh-huh.
My identity is that serves others, right? I believe that the masculine heart, and I don't mean that in a male female way, just a true masculine heart, masculine
Mm-hmm.
energy is a warrior, is an adventurer, and a lover, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that lover side, that compassionate side that I have, I had to realize that leaving that container, I had to go do some inward work first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before I went out, I had to go in. And so phase 1 of our blueprint really takes you, the coach, inward first.
Mm-hmm.
Identify your identity. What is your identity, right? What is that identity? Because we believe in what we call a real coach, REAL.
Mm-hmm.
And real is an acronym that stands for relevant, experiential, authentic leaders.
Mm-hmm.
We believe coaches should be real coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are trying to coach something that you've never coached before, like Samantha, if you came to me and say, Adam, I need you to coach me on making $1 billion, I would say, fantastic, let's figure it out. But I would be inauthentic because I've
Mm-hmm.
never made $1 billion before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you would come to me and say, hey, Adam, I want you to coach me on how to build an event where we can have at least 500 people there. And I want it to be a day and a half. And this is what great. That I could authentically help you do because I've successfully done that many times.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So every coach needs to be a real coach. If you feel inauthentic or if you feel like you have imposter syndrome, it's because you're probably not in an authentic space.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably winging it, right? And that is phase 1. Phase 1 is we help you identify your North Star, not your why, but your North Star. We help you identify your avatar. We help you identify what we call your problem solution cycle. And that's very, very important to understand what that is. We help you identify all of that, which is internal here. Phase 2. Phase 2. Uh-oh, my camera's going to shut off. Let me hold on. Phase 2.
Yeah. There we go.
Phase 2 is more along the lines of now, how do I go build a business?
Mm-hmm.
Right? How do I go build a one-on-one? Let me wipe that off. There we go. Sorry, listeners. A little technical support there. How do I go build a one-on-one business? Right? How do I go build this business that will actually make me money? How can I take what I've learned? How can I take what I feel and go build a business? Well, phase 2 is how do we help you go get 10 one-on-one coaching clients in 90 days?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we like to say there is this is not the be all end all of your business. This is just to help you keep your lights on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Phase 2 is to help you keep your lights on because maybe you're coming from a survivor job or a survivor seat that maybe you've exited.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you're still sitting in that survivor seat and you're like, I need to get out of this seat, but I don't have the income to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we say in that phase 2, we're going to help you go get 10 one-on-one coaching clients that are right underneath your nose. They are. Your first clients are right underneath your nose. You do not need to go out to the wild internet world to go generate leads first because there are people right now underneath your nose that will say, I want what Samantha is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we won't know unless we go ask them.
Yeah.
Right? So that is how do we get you to $180,000 as fast as possible? How do we get you to $15,000 a month of monthly recurring revenue?
Mm-hmm.
That's phase 2.
Mm-hmm.
Phase 3 now is where we start to really build scale.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you're stepping into what we call a one-to-many approach. It's not group coaching. It's one-to-many.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what you got to understand. When you're building this coaching business, you are building this in a way that I like to call is the book. Okay? So, Samantha, you have a book of knowledge, a book of your problem solution cycles. You do.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be a physical book. I don't know if this is going to be a video podcast or not, but I have a book right here, right? This is the
Yes.
I Love Coaching Blueprint version 8, right? So for
Okay.
7 years, I've been updating this over and over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But the one-to-many approach is different than what most people think. They think, oh, well, I'll just put the people into my group, is what they call it, that can't afford my one-on-one. Nope,
Mm-hmm.
that's not how this works. What I've experienced is you build a one-to-many
Mm-hmm.
with the idea and understanding that you're only going to get one chapter out of my book. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
One chapter. One
Mm-hmm.
chapter. Now, the next group will be the second chapter. But here's what happens. If I bring you into a group, a one-to-many that I'm coaching, and you're getting one chapter, and you know what that chapter is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
some people will be done after that. Some people will want more, and they'll come to the next one. Some
Mm-hmm.
people will want even more, and will say, Samantha, how do I work with you one-on-one to get the whole book?
Mm-hmm.
Now what we can do is we call that proximity. When
Mm.
people have proximity to you from the peer-to-peer coaching, now you get to charge even more.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So when they know that you're the authority in that space, we call it the 3 Ps.
Mm-hmm.
Proximity, phase, that is your one-to-one.
Mm-hmm.
Peers is your one-to-many. Your
Mm-hmm.
book is your process. When
Mm-hmm.
you have those 3 Ps, you can make any type of success that you want when it comes to financial
Yeah.
ability.
Yeah.
Phase 4 now that you have your 3 Ps dialed in, now we help you write a book. Now we help you get up on stages.
Mm-hmm.
Now we help you do a TED Talk. Now we help you get on podcasts. Now we help you go start a podcast. Because now it's time to expand your web
Mm-hmm.
much larger than you could ever dream.
Mm-hmm.
So this past year, we've had a coach write a USA Today bestseller book. We've had a coach write an international best-selling book in phase
Uh-huh.
4. We've had a couple coaches do TED Talks in phase 4.
Uh-huh.
Stages are the number one trust builder. And we know that in phase 4, the more stages you can get on, the faster your one-to-many will grow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's amazing. So there's so much in there that you talked about. I was scribbling down as
Yeah.
much as I could. So, well, oh, we lost
Oh,
your
I got it.
camera again.
Changing cameras again. 3, 2, 1. There it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um, one of the things that you had said was imposter syndrome. And so I think a lot of people, especially when they're just getting started in a space, they are suffering from imposter syndrome. And something that was interesting to me that you said was imposter syndrome usually is a sign that you're not coming from an authentic place. And I was wondering if you could go into that in a little bit more detail.
Sure. So
Mhm.
let's talk about this again. Let's just go back to the very simple example. If you
Mhm.
come to me and say, Adam, coach me on how to make $1 billion,
Mhm.
I would love to. Right? I
Mhm.
really would,
Mhm.
but I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
If I saw you on my calendar and it said, Samantha, and I knew based on our discovery call that you wanted to make $1 billion and you wanted to do it in 12 months, and you're expecting me to guide you through that process, it's going to be an uphill battle for me. Right? I'm
Mhm.
going to not sleep at night
Mhm.
because I know I'm faking it. Okay.
Mhm.
But now if you come to me and say, hey, I want to make $1 million, great. No problem. We'll figure that out. I want to make $10
Mhm.
million. Great. We'll figure that out.
Mhm.
That we can do. Imposter syndrome is also telling you, I think, when you're in your authentic zone,
Mhm.
where you need to step up a little more,
Mhm.
right? Where you need to step up. So, for example, let's say that hypothetically, you come to me and you say, Adam, I want to come into the community. I want to be engaged with the co-ops that are going on. And I want to follow the blueprint because I also want to build a 7-figure coaching business. Great.
Mhm.
No problem. And let's say that there are parts of the blueprint where you're not fully understanding, or maybe it's my fault that it's unclear language. Okay.
Mhm.
That's my authentic space, and I can go in there and fix that. But maybe I will have a little insecurity or imposter syndrome at first to say, gosh, he's going to think I'm not very good. Or she's going to think that my product is inferior. What you're saying is I just need clarity. So you need to plus your game up there to be able to step in to make it clearer for the consumer.
Okay.
Also in the coaching space is it scary when you start? I don't know. Define scary, right? To me, scary is walking through the woods without a flashlight and I can't see in front of me. That's scary.
Yeah.
Right? Is it scary to start a coaching business? Not if you're in your wheelhouse. If you're in your passion zone where you know you can help people and you have it identified exactly, you're going to be fine. But
Yeah.
again, if you ask me to grow tomatoes, I've never grown tomatoes, I'm not going to be able to help you very clearly. But sure, I can go chat GPT it, but that's still inauthentic if you ask me.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, like, I'll use myself as an example, and
Okay.
maybe we can workshop me a little bit. But like, so I'm a DJ. I'm an international DJ. Toured in
I would
10
love to
countries.
hear you play, by the way. Yes.
Toured in 10 countries. So like, I know that I'm a DJ. I know that, like, I go on stages and all of this. Like, my logic brain knows it. But to this day, at the beginning of every set or at the beginning of every festival, when I'm first playing my first set of the weekend, I'm like, is this really real? Like, and there's just this like hesitancy of like, what the fuck am I doing up here? Like kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like when I even say that I'm a DJ, like the logic disconnect in my brain, because I also have a
Yep.
real estate background and I actually still work in real estate. And so it's just like the logic disconnect is that to me is a kind of imposter syndrome. It's a little bit different, I think, than what you were describing, right? But it's just
Well,
like the fact that I'm doing this and I'm like, I don't understand how this happened. I don't understand why I'm here. Like, am I actually doing this? Like, do I deserve to be here? I think there's a lot of worthiness underneath that.
a couple things that I would workshop there. Number one, it's okay to be nervous, right? And we don't want to confuse nervousness versus imposter syndrome. I could walk on a court, tennis court, and still get nervous to this day. And I've played tennis for the last 35 plus years, right? But when we have self-doubt, okay, self-doubt is completely different than nervousness. And self-doubt is actually there's many ways to skin this cat however you want to see yourself on the other side. But what I would say is self-doubt could be driven because you've built in a silo, right? Maybe you've built a business in a silo where you haven't gotten the feedback that you need to step into a confident space, right? Maybe you have self-doubt has come from childhood, right? We have an equation inside of phase 1. That is an identity equation, and it goes like this. And this is why we say phase 1 is a heavy lift because you have to go internal before you go external. And we say you have to identify a wound, not a physical wound, but maybe an emotional, spiritual, whatever wound you had at an early age. Something. You got wounded because that wound, so it goes W, plus L is what we call a lie, plus V, which is VOW for vow. That is the vow that you have told yourself that you're going to overcome that lie, creates the pose, POSE. The pose is masking the lie. Okay, so I'll give you my own example with them.
Okay.
You've heard about my father.
Yeah.
As a child, I got to see my father on magazine covers. I got to see him published in magazines. I got to see him inducted into Hall of Fames, right? Even at his death, I got to see how the notoriety he had, right? But he was a passive father. He wasn't a sit down, tell you how to live father. He was a, let me just live by example. And he got his validation for himself externally from the family or from church. He got it externally. That's just why he had all the magazines up in his office, right? Not negative. That was just how he was.
Mhm.
So what lie did that create in myself? That I was inadequate, right? That I
Mhm.
was inadequate. I didn't know it. I didn't wear it because the vow that I made to myself was I'll never lose. The
Mhm.
vow that I made to myself was I'm going to win. I'm going to compete. I'm going to perform. I'm going to be really performance driven,
Mhm.
i.e., success, right?
Yep.
Which created the pose of I am in the performance space.
Mm.
Performance is my identity. I've got to be performing, driven. That's got to be me.
Mhm.
Not true. Not true. So when we have that self-impacting language, we've got to go dissect it a little bit to figure out where it even came from.
Mhm.
But stepping onto the stage to be a DJ, I'm like terrified of doing something like that. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin, but I'm sure you make it look effortless and nerves are okay. Though here's the other thing that I want people to hear.
Mhm.
How many times have we heard maybe ourselves or other people say, "Oh, I just don't take compliments well."
Mhm.
Y'all got to get over that, right? It's okay to feel the impact you've had on people. It's
Mhm.
okay to absorb that. You don't need to deflect that.
Mhm.
Allow that to come into you
Mhm.
because here's what we're doing there. Me, you, maybe the listeners, what do we do all day? We measure ourselves on this mirror that we get to see, which is ourselves. We're looking at Zoom. I can see you, I can see me. I've
Yeah.
got mirrors right here, right?
Yeah.
And these are the mirrors reflecting who we are.
Mhm.
And we have a story in our head of who we are.
Mhm.
But if I look at you and I say, "You're beautiful. You're amazing. I have no doubt you are incredible up on stage." I'm sure I would dance like a crazy white boy would if I heard your music, right? I'd probably have my hands in the air doing some silly stuff. That's what we call a window,
Mhm.
right? Instead of having this mirror in front of us, which we've had for my case nearly 50 years, let's open the window a little bit
Mhm.
and let other people give us the feedback,
Yeah.
right? And that's our identity. The
I
feedback of the window is
mm-mm.
the identity. So has anybody ever told you you're a bad DJ?
Not really, no, like, I I would say, like, the harshest criticism that I ever had was, like and I thought it was a little bit weird too, was, like, the organizer came up to me and said, "Yeah, like, a couple people left because they said you weren't even" like, I play a very specific genre, and so they're
Okay.
like, "They said that you weren't even playing this genre of music," and I'm like, "Well, I'm pretty sure I don't even have other genres of music on my computer, so I'm pretty sure that's not true," but also I thought it was very strange. It's so funny because I just recorded a short about this today for content purposes, but I'm pretty sure also that the rest of the dance floor was packed, and I thought it was
Mhm,
so
mhm.
interesting that instead of the organizer, focusing on the fact that the rest of the dance floor was packed, they focus on the 2 people that left because
Yep,
they didn't like the music for whatever reason, which,
yep.
like, you can't please everyone either, you
No,
know?
no,
So,
you totally can't.
yeah.
But here's the thing, right? We have a tendency to Amazon reviews ourselves,
Yeah.
meaning when you go buy a product and it's got 1,000 reviews and 998 of them are 5 or 4 stars, but 2 of them are 1 or 2 stars, where do we
Mhm.
go? We look at the
What
1 or 2, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
We do that to ourselves, and that's that mirror that I'm
Mhm.
describing when it's let me see if I can have it pulled up right here. This is a question that I is in the blueprint that I teach people to ask. What is it like being on the other side of me?
Oh gosh, that's
Right?
a really thought-provoking question.
What's it like being on the other side of me? That's a window,
Mhm,
right? That's a window.
mhm.
We've known each other from one call and now this call. That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's it. I can tell you from the other side, you aren't. incredibly pleasant to be around, right? Your smile is infectious. Your laugh is just, I just want to sit here and talk all day with you, right? That's what's like being on the other side of you right now, where you may be saying to yourself, what do you say? I need more vitamin D, right? I can't remember what you said when we started this call, right? It's like I never even thought about that when I first saw you, but we that's our mirror, right? That's
Yeah.
the mirror in front of us that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
no, it
so
is really
identity.
fascinating. But I also think it's interesting just going back to what you said about like we only like we're like there could be 100 positive reviews and then we only focus on the 2 negative reviews, but also just like sometimes the negative reviews that we give ourselves as well because like I know that there have been sets where I was like that was a garbage set, and then afterward I had
Mhm.
like 5 people come up to me and be like your set was so amazing. I loved it. And I was like, "Okay, like sure."
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's what I believe about transformation, and that's why
Mhm.
it's so important to have guardrails around, right? And to have a coach. Transformation starts with humility,
Mhm.
right? Transformation starts with humility. Well, what's humility? And my definition of humility is showing up where you're a mess.
Mhm.
Where are you a mess? Where do you need
Mhm.
help? Right. And again, if we talk in the coaching context space, show up, share your
Mhm.
mess, right? That's okay. Your mess is you. It's okay. So that's step one in transformation. Is transformation, you got to start with humility.
Mhm.
Next, I believe transformation thrives in a community,
Mhm.
right? Transformation thrives in a community. Why? Because again, that window effect is alive, right?
Mhm.
It's like if you had a DJ community which you're a part of, and they come and watch you, I guarantee you they're the people giving you the biggest high fives. Like you killed that. That was awesome. Look at those people
Yeah.
dancing out there. Look at that. Look at that bald-headed white guy from South Carolina. He's going nuts out there, right? But transformation thrives in a community. And then
Mhm.
lastly, and the most importantly, transformation inspires transformation. So when
Yes.
someone looks at you and says, "Samantha, you've transformed, you've changed, you've done something X, Y, and Z." Here it comes. How did you do it?
Mhm.
Transformation inspires transformation.
Mhm.
And so it's so important to realize this that if we keep this mirror in front of us, we're only good as yesterday's story.
Mhm.
Right? If we keep this mirror in front of us, we are going to believe our thought patterns and beliefs from yesterday.
Mhm.
And that's going to impact your decisions today.
Mhm.
It totally does.
Mhm.
But if you get out here and you have identity of what the future is, you have a clear understanding of that, and you surround yourself with the right people and you understand transformation, you kill yesterday's version of yourself and you focus on tomorrow's version of yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's also like I don't know if you read a lot of Joe Dispenza. I'm sure you're familiar with
Sure.
his work,
Yeah.
right? And one of the things that he talks about is like the repeating patterns over and over again and just like living on autopilot and you
Yeah.
get to a certain point where like your body is basically controlling the mind rather than the mind controlling the body because we're still
Right.
stuck in those stories from yesterday. Except
Yeah.
yesterday compounds over years sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. For sure. I
So,
hired a fitness coach one time. Here recently. Actually, he's Canadian. He lives in Kelowna.
okay.
And we were gonna do a cleanse, right? So after my father passed, I told my father, I said, "Listen, I may not have beaten you in many things, but I am gonna beat you in age when I die."
Mhm.
He died in his
Mhm.
60s, unfortunately, and way too young. So
Yeah.
I went out and I hired a nutritionist and a
Mhm.
fitness guy. And his name's Alan Dick, and he is amazing.
Uh-huh.
Though he said this to me, and this will resonate with everything that we're saying. He sends me over this cleanse. It was a 16-day cleanse. And I'd done cleanse before, and I looked at this and I was like, "This isn't a cleanse. I'm eating chicken, I'm eating steak, I'm eating good stuff here."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Though the only thing that was on there was coffee, and I don't drink coffee."
Uh-huh.
And so I said, "Okay, fine. What can I substitute the coffee for? I'm totally in. Let's do it." He
Uh-huh.
says, "Are you gonna do the cleanse?" I said, "Yes." I said, "But I don't drink coffee. What can I substitute it for?" He said, "I'm asking you one more time. You gonna do the cleanse?" I said, I'm going to tell you one more time. Yes, I don't drink coffee. He said, Adam, if you don't drink coffee, you're not doing the cleanse.
Uh-huh.
I said, what? And he said, let me ask you this. You told me where you want to go. You told me you want to live to be 103. You told me X, Y, and Z. This is this. He said, but what I'm hearing you right now is yesterday's Adam. Because yesterday's Adam didn't drink coffee. And if you want to get to where you want to go and you hired me to do this and you know that I have the expertise in this space, you need to kill that version of yourself from yesterday. And don't even worry about that and focus on the version of yourself for tomorrow. Because that's where I'm going to take you. I said, okay. Had my tail between my legs. I said, can I drink decaf? Because you don't want me on caffeine. He's like, yeah, you can have decaf. I was like, okay, fine. So I did. I went through the whole 16-day cleanse. I had 3 cups of coffee a day.
Yeah.
But here's what I did. I would brew it and I would put it on ice and I would just smash it real fast because I didn't want to taste it. I don't like the taste of it. And that's a true story. That's not from yesterday's Adam. The taste of coffee to me is just garbage.
Yeah.
But I did it. And so listeners, we have to realize that if we want to go somewhere of a future version of ourselves, we have to know who we are right now and where do we want to grow to cannot be controlled by yesterday's thought process. We've got to kill it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. I love that example. Not only because I'm a coffee addict and I'm like, man,
Okay.
sign me up. Like, need to hire
Well,
this guy. Give me permission to drink my coffee.
Yep, he did, and oh man, it was a lot. I can only imagine if it was 3 cups of caffeine coffee. Whoo, I'd be bouncing off the
Oh
wall.
man, oh, that's lightweight stuff over here. Although I do think that the coffee is really just an excuse for me to drink a lot of cream, and because I like the high fat cream, and so it's
Yeah.
like 50-50. So
Wow.
yeah, so I don't particularly like the taste of coffee either. Like I'm more of a latte girl. So
Gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
good.
But
Good.
anyway, yeah. One of the other things that you had said that piqued my interest actually was knowing your why versus your North Star, because you said they're
Mm,
not the same thing. And that
mm-mm.
really intrigues me. So let's dive into that.
Well, again, a why is I look at a why as is more of like a 10.0 version of yourself, right? It's like, how do I a lot of people will say my family is my why,
Hmm.
my whatever, my goals are my why. And I actually don't believe in that. I just think that a North Star is where are you going, right? A North Star, we can look up and say, that's the direction I'm going. If we talk about like Elon Musk, his North Star is what? Cultivating Mars. If we talk about Gary Vee, his North Star, buying the New York Jets. Right? We don't even know these people, but yet we know where they want to go. Anybody that knows Adam and I love coaching, I have a vision statement, and that is to empower coaches to change and serve 100 million people. So my job, along with the community's job, is to empower each other, right? Transformation thrives in a community so that we can go change and serve 100 million people. That's where we're going to go. That's going to turn off again. I don't know why this keeps turning off. And there we go. So then, excuse me, if you look at the why is like, why am I doing this? Whys aren't sustainable, in my opinion. They're not sustainable. I want to do it for my family. Great, my dad's dead. Now what do I do? Right? I want to do it because I want to buy that car. Great, you bought the car. Now what? Right? If we're looking at it through that lens, it truly is a North Star is where are you going and who knows it and why do they know it? What's important to you about that? Living to 103 is important because I've already done the math that that's when I can dance at my great grandkids' weddings, right? That's important to me. That is why I want to live to be 103.
Yeah.
And my wife is so funny. She's like 7 years younger than I am. And she's like, so 103 is so you really want me to be up there dancing with you when I'm in my 90s? I'm like, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll be
But
the DJ. I'll
you
be
be
like
the
the
DJ,
granny. I'll be
yes.
the granny DJ.
Come on, that'll be so good.
Yeah.
But whys, and again, this is just my belief, right? Doesn't mean I'm right. whys are just not sustainable because they change over time. You allow yourself to move the goalpost.
Uh-huh.
And I believe you can have a vision. I believe you can have a North Star. I believe you can understand how to be your 10.0 version of yourself.
Mhm.
Period.
Mhm.
Full stop. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Whys to me are not sustainable,
Mhm. That's
in
such
my
an
opinion.
interesting way to look at it because you hear a lot of the time when I hear this a lot about like especially when you go into like I'm not that this is maybe it's similar, maybe it's not, but like when people start diets, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that diets are sustainable unless you know the reason why you're doing it. Like if you're just
Sure.
doing it for shits and giggles, it's not going to work, you know?
Right.
Like you have
Agreed.
to have but maybe the North Star is like, I know that I'm unhealthy and I wanna become healthier, like, I wanna be alive for my grandkids' wedding, so that's why I'm gonna, like, that's my North Star, right?
Right. Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Very, very true. So again,
Mhm.
it's just the sustainability of something, right? How do you
Mhm.
sustain it?
Mhm.
Because some people, when you look at their whys, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll get back to you on that." Like
Mhm.
they have a block there.
Mhm.
It's like, okay,
Mhm.
fine, but that's where do you feel called? Where do you feel called to serve? Where do you feel? What do you feel? Right? Tell me what you feel,
Mhm.
and it may change.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just my thought process on it.
So I have a few things here, words that I've highlighted and underlined and things like that. And we talked a little bit about this, but like i- in terms of determining your identity, and like you had talked about the window versus the mirror.
Mm,
But a lot of the time when people are, like coming out of a corporate career, for example, like during the transition that you were doing, like how did you not lose yourself as you were making that transition into like the identity like I'm a real estate guy, like I need to be in real estate, because that was something I've always struggled with this question. I like to bring things back to myself because then we can like it's a real life example for
sure.
people, and I
Yeah.
only have my own experience, but like when I left the real estate world and then I was thinking like if I was ever going to go back and work a job, it's like I wouldn't know what else to do other than real estate, And so it's like when you're coming out of that or going into a transition, like how do you successfully let go of that identity without like as a lot of people do this during retirement as well, all of a sudden
Sure.
they're not working their job and then they have no identity anymore. So how
Mm.
what's the successful way to transition?
Well, that's a really, really good question, and I can only speak from my own experience here, and everyone's going to
Mhm.
be unique in their own approach to that. But if you're living for a title,
Mhm.
right? If you're I did a podcast this morning with an incredible lady who was in the university administration space, right? She was a vice president of universities, and she's a coach now.
Mhm.
And what she said was really good is if you go into a role and you don't know who you are, you're going to come out of that role the person that needed to be in the role. Right?
Ah.
So you almost have to go back and you gotta say, "Okay, fine, I need to identify who I am right now." But if you haven't done that, you gotta go spend some time in that equation that I gave, right? You've
Mhm.
gotta go spend some time. Now, again, I'm a very spiritual guy, so I pray a lot, right? I
Mhm.
I do. I stay in prayer a lot, and I ask, and I'll sit there, and quiet time is not easy for me,
Ah.
but I have to have it every morning. So when I left and exited, and I went really heavy into the fitness space, but not the fitness space, it's just the health and wellness space. I
Mhm.
hired a functioning medicine doctor,
Mhm.
and we went through all these tests, and he's like, "Hey, your cortisol level is extremely high."
Mhm.
Okay, fine. What do you want me to do? He said, "You need to calm down first." It's like, "Okay, well, I don't even know what that means, so just tell me what to do." Yeah, just tell me what to do. And he said, "Well, you work out a lot, you're in high stressful situations, you do a lot of things and blah blah blah." He said, "I want you to go for a walk." I said, a walk. And he said, yeah, go for a walk. I said, how long? And he said, 30 minutes. And I said, can I run it? He says, no, you can't run it. He goes, I need you to be at a level 2 cardio. I said, what's level 2 cardio? And he says, that's where you're able to walk at a good pace and you can still carry a conversation. I said, okay, why do you want me to do this? He says, you need to quiet your brain. You need to calm down a little bit. Okay, why am I sharing this right now? I begrudgingly did it starting 5 years ago. And I haven't missed a day since. And I'm going to tell you why. Because boy, that is my time for quiet. I do it at 5:15 in the morning. No one else is up. I take my phone, but I don't use my phone. No podcast, no music, no nothing. And it's at that moment in time, again, I love going into my spiritual side, is I'll listen for 10 things that I can identify. Airplane, bird, boat, frog, whatever, right? And then I just start to pray. Right? I just pray out loud. And someone's going to call the cops on me one time because here's this bald-headed guy walking around talking out loud, and half the time I'm in black anyway. And they're like, look at this crazy guy. Someone throw him in jail. He's going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
But I do, and that has really helped me in the space of identity, right? It's really helped me see that, again, going back to the masculine heart is a warrior, is an adventurer, and a lover. And I think I err on the side of being a compassionate, loving person more than the other two, right? I was sharing that with my wife a couple days ago, and she's like, what's your adventure side? I was like, oh, honey, I've done a lot of adventure stuff. And she's like, yeah, you're right, you have. But what about the warrior side? I said, remember that bee I killed? That was me being a warrior. She's like, that's not a warrior, And so it's kind of funny, but again, you identify and understand who you really are.
Yeah.
Right? But you've got to spend quiet time in that space. So if you're transitioning from a container to, let's just say, the coaching world, I would challenge you to go spend some time, as much as you can in quiet time, with a good facilitated set of questions. Right? Which is why phase 1 of the blueprint is so important for people, because I even have coaches when they go from phase 1 to phase 2 and they start making money. When they're ready for phase 3, the 1-to-many, I make them go back through phase 1 again. Because sometimes when you go from phase 1 to phase 3, phase 2 to phase 3, you need to check your identity again. And then when you go to phase 4 and now you're on stages and you're writing books and you're doing all these things, go back through phase 1 again. Let's check the identity.
Yeah.
But if you don't spend quality, quiet time, I went on a retreat, I don't know, about 5-6 weeks ago. And it was a 2-day, middle of the woods, 100-acre farm, no cell phone service. And we did. In 2 days, we had about 6.5 hours of quiet time.
Yeah.
No interaction. It was already led what we were supposed to be doing. No music.
Yeah.
And it's so good. So go back to my doctor. Your cortisol levels were high. The next quarter, not even the next year, the next quarter had dropped.
Really?
Had dropped. Yeah.
Wow. That's so interesting because you're actually the second person that I know of who regularly goes for walks in the morning to pray and out loud. So there's got to be something to it then, especially if your cortisol came down. So
Oh,
there
I
you
mean,
go.
completely down. He's like, I have no idea how you did that.
Yeah.
I said, me neither.
Yeah.
I just did begrudgingly what you told me to do, and that's go for a walk. And now 5 years later, I don't miss my walks. It doesn't matter. When I was on that retreat, in the middle of the woods, I'd get up and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I used to go do running. Now I don't do running so much anymore, but I do walking in the summers. I live in the coldest part of Canada, so not in the winter time. I don't go out in the winter time, but in the summertime, I really enjoy going for walks. And I used to always run and listen to playlists, but now because I'm listening to music too much, and so now I just love the quiet time. I'm just you don't need to have noise all the time, but I will say that silence and staying still is quite a struggle for me. Like, yeah,
Yes.
it can be
Yeah.
a huge, huge struggle. So, like,
Mhm.
I was in Whistler last weekend, and so
Love
they
Whistler.
have a spa there, and the spa is it's like got all these like hot and cold pools and saunas and stuff like that that you can do, but just like sitting still and being okay, just like sitting there and like it was really hard for me. I
Yeah.
struggled.
Yeah, it is hard. It is,
Yeah.
though very necessary in my opinion.
Yes, really, very
Very, very
necessary.
necessary. Yeah.
Mhm. So there's 2 more things that I have highlighted here. I'll show you.
Okay.
I have
Yes.
fun and
Yeah.
success
Yeah.
highlighted here.
Okay.
So, when we started the podcast, you were talking about how much like fun you had on the farm, right? And then kind of
Yes.
realizing like that the farm was actually work. I am a huge believer though that we should all have fun at our work, right? And so what was the evolution, I guess, of your understanding of work and how work can actually translate into fun?
Yeah, great question. So,
Mhm.
the way I look at it now is with the coach community, and I get to lead the coaches, and tomorrow we
Uh-huh.
have our coach community call. This
Uh-huh.
is fun for me.
Uh-huh.
This is just I've been doing this now for almost 7 years, and time has flown by, right?
Uh-huh.
Literally has flown by, and this isn't work for me. This is a passion. This is calling. So, when I look at my grandfather, being a farmer was a calling for him.
Uh-huh.
That's what he was called to do.
Uh-huh.
And looking back on it, I never asked him, and I wish I would have, "Are you having fun out here?"
Uh-huh.
Because he was always smiling, he was always joking around, he was always having a good time.
Uh-huh.
I don't know finances, I don't know if he was successful, I knew that he had a big farm, but
Uh-huh.
at the end of the day, it's I got to see how hard he worked, but again, hard is relative, right?
Uh-huh.
It's I don't wake up to an alarm clock. I haven't woken up to an alarm clock in a long time, but John Maxwell tells me that if you have to wake up to an alarm clock, it's a career.
Uh-huh.
If you wake up without alarm clock, you're walking into your calling,
Uh-huh.
right? And so I don't know if grandpa was alarm clock guy or if he was just, waking up and going to do what he loved to do fun.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I get to do right now. And that's what I get
Uh-huh.
to empower these coaches to do too
Uh-huh.
is if this isn't fun, if serving people isn't a calling and isn't fun, don't come into the membership, right? Don't
Uh-huh.
be part of the community because everyone, for the most part, that's in there, they're having fun. Like,
Uh-huh.
when we do our intensives here and people come into Charleston, I only take 10 people at a time. Oh
Uh-huh.
my gosh, for a day and a half, it is a blast. I melt their
Uh-huh.
brains, but
Uh-huh.
it's still a blast, right? And
Uh-huh.
we have a lot of good times.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't know, that's kinda what I would say about that
Uh-huh.
is fun and hard work can definitely go hand in hand when you're in your calling.
Mhm. Yeah. I really like that too because, when I was younger, what you said about like if you wake up to an alarm clock, that's a career. And when I was younger, for me, the differentiation was also like, do you have a job or do you have a career? Right.
Yeah.
But a
Mhm.
job and a career, regardless, if you have to wake up to an alarm clock, you're still ultimately not the one in control of your
That's
own
right.
destiny.
Yep.
And so
So
for
true.
me, it's about being in control of my own destiny, but also having fun, like just truly like I love this, like for me, these podcasts are fucking fun,
And you're so good at them too. You're such a good
oh,
facilitator. You're such a good podcast host. I love it.
thank you. Thank you. But like that's what I hope like that my one of my goals that people get out of this is that I want people to live lives having fun, and
Love
so
it.
my
Yep.
goal is to really inspire other people to focus on that. Life should
Yeah.
be fun, life should be
Great.
amazing, life should be about
Agree.
experiences and love and
Well, I
all
can tell you
those
what, I'm
things.
having a lot of fun right now, so thank you.
Oh, okay, good, I'm glad. So one other thing that I just wanted to mention that before we wrap up is you said the masculine heart is a warrior. What was it? A warrior,
Venture.
an adventurer, and a lover.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I think ties in so well to this and what you're doing is that I've also believed like a masculine heart or a heart of leadership, is also one based on service. And so
Mhm.
I'm truly one who believes, in leadership based on service towards others. And I think that you are such an amazing example
Well,
of this, like
thank you.
living that. So that was just something that popped into my mind.
Thank you for saying that.
Um
See,
so and
there's a window. See the window?
yeah,
Thank you for that. That was a window. Yeah.
there's your window. Yay.
Thank you.
Um and so lastly, the last question that I had for you was what's your definition of success?
Mm,
Because when we started this conversation, you were very successful in different careers, making lots of money doing real estate, like software, real estate, stuff like that, tennis pro, all those things. Making money, but, like, a lot of us think that that is the definition of success, just making lots of money, and I think that when you're in a position where all of a sudden now you've made lots of money,
yep.
you kind of recognize that that's not the be all and end all. So what is your definition of success?
Well, I'm gonna share something here with you, and I'll keep it living right here. So it's for this to come to life, right? This is my definition of success.
Mhm,
And what this is my family's vision statement
mhm,
and money philosophies, right?
mhm,
That is my now new definition of success. Even though I've had this, we built this 9 years ago now.
mhm.
Um, we live by this now. Now I'll read it to you.
Okay.
So we talk about money first, because growing up as a kid, my family we didn't talk about money,
Mhm,
and money is nothing other than an agreement between two parties of whatever it is, right? It doesn't have to be a positive or a negative thing. And I tell the kids all the time, I have a soon to be 18-year-old and soon to be 16-year-old this summer, that the more money you make, the more things you can help.
mhm,
Right. And so we say money is simply a byproduct of our faith, love, and gratitude for everyone around us. That's what our
mhm,
money is, right?
mhm,
Investing is our vehicle for establishing monthly and annual cash flows that are 100% greater than our monthly and annual expenses.
mhm,
Wealth is not measured in money by wealth is not measured in money by our family. It's
mhm,
measured in family experiences that create lasting memories and epic family tales.
mhm,
Giving is a core value. This is an action which is always at the forefront of our minds. Giving is not limited to only money. It will include time, resources, energy, love, knowledge, and ideas.
uh-huh,
Our vision for the family, vision statement, is to become a family that is deep rooted in faith, love, trust, and communication. And we will accomplish this by consistently living by and being 100% committed to our family values, which we are. Anytime we have a beef, we go get underneath this, we call it our family vision tree.
mhm,
And that is our family values are faith, kindness, commitment, giving, and fun,
uh-huh,
right? The last one is fun.
uh-huh,
And so I want to share this with you. There's four of us in our family.
mhm,
And so faith, we all came to that one as an agreement for number one.
mhm,
Have faith, love, and gratitude for God. Number two, kindness. My daughter came up with that. Treat others as you'd like to be treated, she said. Great. Commitment. Of course, that was my son. He said, be
mhm,
100% committed to all your commitments and see them through. My wife was generosity, and she said,
mhm,
give daily. And then guess who said fun? Me. Have more fun today than you did yesterday is
mhm,
part of our family values. So
mhm,
seeing this come to life now, when we wrote it 9 years ago, this is success for me,
mhm,
right? My kids are going to go to college next year. They're
mhm.
becoming adults.
Yeah.
They're going into what I call adult brain mode, right? No more
Mhm,
kid brain mode. Now it's adult brain mode.
mhm,
And seeing them understand, I give them I give them money every single week, because here's what I tell them, don't ask me for money. I'm going to give you money. It's up to you to budget it. And
mhm,
you have to give at least 10% of it away, right?
uh-huh,
And so the neat part about this is I'm seeing this. I'm watching this come to life. And that is what pulls me and drives me every single day. Like we see this. This is printed out twice in our house. One's downstairs, one upstairs. The one upstairs is by the kids' bedroom, so they can see it every waking moment that they walk in the hallway. And the other one is right by our door that we always exit the house, and so we see it. Right, we see it. So long-winded answer for that's how I define success now.
That is really amazing and beautiful. And it's such an inspiring thing to see like a family come together, as a family unit to define that together. So I love that. So
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
Well, hey, we're not without our flaws, that's for sure.
Well,
And
of course, every family has
we
flaws.
are definitely a shit show at times, but right now that is we do live by that.
Something that we all aspire to, right? You can have your personal aspirations and your family aspirations, right?
Very true.
So,
Yeah. But I do. I love this. I love being a dad. I love being a husband, and it's just God's good. That's where I live, right? That's where my heart is, and I get to serve coaches and all day, every day, get to help people and serve them to whatever degree they need.
That's amazing.
This has
Did
been
you
a lot
have
of fun.
anything else that you wanted to cover before we wrap up?
No, you are an amazing podcast host.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This
Oh,
has
I
been
really
so much
appreciate
fun.
that. Okay.
Yes.
So it's been such a pleasure, Adam. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you
And
so much.
hopefully you'll get to do this again soon sometime.
We definitely will. And I need to have you on the I Love Coaching podcast for
Yes,
sure.
I would love
Yes.
that. I would love that.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Amazing. Okay. Bye.